So me I say, yo, J Mali, read him up.
Say, let me tell you something, something that you know. Say, atone for my sins, cause you know I had to. Keep the love and faith, and you know I got. I say I never go back there. Yeah, life become a long way. Are you that wanna drive or Judah? Still got a long way, still got a long way to go. Everybody in the middle, say the black Messiah. Send them to praise, send them up, and we send them higher. Yeah, starting up your love, yeah, love keeps me enduring. Say my prayers in the morning, to the black Messiah. Who that ringing by my cellular? Got the world on cap saying, go get it down. Nothing new under the sun, under the sun. Prophets break, click, KGB, the time. See clear, got it open, the curtain. See the niggas ain't learning. Like, see milk, so we keep learning. Match that work, it has still burning. More church, everybody there turning. Watch out for the serpent. Wash your mind like detergent. Prophets, I got women, I do. I know I have a night. I prophesy, cause you know we gotta get it, yeah. Examine my soul, cause I gotta get it, yeah. Examine my soul, so I don't be high-minded. Everybody in the middle, so they play Messiah.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Most in Christ bless. Officer Amasai from IUIC Netherlands. I'm a reader to the right.
Officer Malachi.
And today's class is entitled Christmas, Deception and Falsehood. So we're going to show you how Christmas is a deception and a falsehood to our people. But first, we always like to open up to address our audience so you know who the Bible is speaking to. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses is speaking to the descendants of the Israelites to let them know, listen, if we did not keep God's commandments, curses shall come upon us and overtake us. All right. Let's get one of the curses to identify who is it speaking to. Verse 68.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and
Right.
no man shall buy you.
Say from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
All right. So let's understand what Egypt means according to the Bible. Let's get Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. The Bible explains itself. All right. We don't need to do any private interpretation. The Bible will explain precept upon precept, line upon line, what the following scripture means. All right. Let's go.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is a similitude for bondage, captivity, or slavery. All right. Now we can understand it in its better context. So we're going to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68 now to understand the scripture better in its context. All right.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
And the Lord shall bring you into bondage, slavery, captivity again with ships. So the question, brothers and sisters, you're supposed to be asking yourselves, which race of people went into slavery, into cargo slave ships, was brought from the west coast of Africa to the Caribbean islands, South America, North America, from Angola to Brazil, from South Africa to Europe, from East Africa to the northern part of the eastern part of the Eastern Hemisphere, Asia, Asia Minor, so on and so forth. Which race of people was taken into cargo slave ships? All right, come on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
So we wouldn't see our homeland anymore again. Come on.
And there thou shalt be sold unto your enemy for bondmen and bondwomen.
So when we come to our respective destinations, whether they brought us to the islands of Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire, St. Martin, St. Eustatius, Suriname, whether we came off in all of these places where we were carried captive, we were brought onto auction blocks and sold for slave man and slave women. Come on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Meaning no man was able to redeem us. We had a lot of our forefathers try to set us free. Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, so on and so forth, but they weren't able to take the curses that Moses declared that would be put on our people as a result for breaking God's commandments. All right, they rose up, they tried to set us free, they tried to fight for our rights, but the curses of God is upon the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians who make up the 12 tribes of Israel because they broke God's commandments. All right, so let me go and show how Christmas is a deception, a deceiving spirit to our people. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Okay, so why is Jeremiah playing so much emphasis on the house of Israel? Why is he saying this? Because is the Bible given to all nations? Is the Bible speaking to all races of men? No. Let's get Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19.
Read.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Unto all nations.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Come on.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
How do we know that God has not dealt so with any nation? Read verse 19 again.
He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So judgments is a result of breaking God's commandments. All right. When we broke God's commandments, slavery, the curses of Deuteronomy 28 came upon our people. So did other races went into cargo slave ships? No. That's how we know he has not dealt so with any other nations, because what? The law, statutes, and commandments was given to the Israelites, and as a result of breaking those laws, judgments in the form of curses came upon those people. Come on.
He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them.
And
Praise ye the Lord.
And as for his what?
And as for his judgments,
the other nations don't know about slavery. The other nations wasn't sold on wasn't picking cotton on plantations. The other nations wasn't in animal zoos. All right. So the scriptures say, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So now we understand why Jeremiah is playing so much emphasis to the children of Israel to say, listen, learn not the ways of heathen and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven for what the things the heathens are doing. Let's go back to Jeremiah 10 and read verse 1 again.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Read.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Come on.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of a workman.
What is this tree? The Christmas tree. Come on.
For the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Come on.
They fasten it.
So that's what they do on Christmas. They have gold ointments. They have silver ointments, and they put it all over the tree, different silver and gold decorations. Just like in the past, they do it today. Come on.
Fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
At the bottom of the Christmas tree, they put nails. They put in order for the Christmas tree to stand straight up. Come on.
They are upright as the palm tree.
Now today, back then in the Babylonian time, they used the palm tree on the Nimrod, but today we using the what? The evergreen tree or the pine tree. Come on.
They are upright as palm tree, but speak not. They must need to be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
Exactly. So these are the customs this is where Christmas originated from. These are the customs the Lord was telling us to say, learn not the ways of the heathen. All right. Let's get that in First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41.
This is the book of First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 41.
Read.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his relation and sacrificed unto idols.
So Christmas is idolatry worship. All right, that's what it is, idolatry worship. I know this is the Greek captivity we are reading, but it's significant that we're reading First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41, because every captivity our people was brought into, certain of our people left the laws of their fathers, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, and worship the idols of the heathen. That's what it says here. And many what? And many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. All right. In the Babylonian captivity, Persian captivity, a lot of old people consented unto their religion and left the laws of our fathers, the laws of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and follow after the laws of the heathen and give worship unto idols. Just as this day, Christmas, idolatry worship. All right. That was it.
Yes, that was it, just.
Colossians 2 and 8. Let's get Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8.
This is the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Yeah, spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, because the Christmas gifts is what's spoiling you. The what's the other thing called? The Christmas gifts, all of the food that they're doing, all of those are deceiving your mind when you don't understand you, in the time of slavery, you was the Christmas gift. The plantation owners, as they're celebrating Christmas, they used to bring one slave as a gift to the other plantation owner. You got a precept in Revelations. Let me get it. Revelations, I think it's 10 and verse. What is it again? 10, give me 11 and verse 10. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 10. The book of Revelation chapter 11 and verse 10.
This is the book of Revelations chapter 11.
So this is what Paul is saying in Colossians. Be not deceived. Don't let anybody spoil you through vain deceit, thinking, oh, it's a Christmas celebration for the kids. Oh, it's a nice time to gather ourselves together, because what it brings unity amongst family members who you've been fighting the whole damn year with. You're fighting the whole year with your family member. All of a sudden, no, all of a sudden you're gonna cook ham, you're gonna cook turkey, you're gonna cook all of these things to pretend you have a natural bond, when it actually representing the destruction of your people. All right. Revelation chapter 11, verse 10.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them.
That's our enemies. When our enemies conquer us and they brought us to different parts of the world through slavery, they rejoiced over us. And what manner did they use to rejoice over us? Come on.
And make merry.
And make what?
And make merry. And shall send gifts one to another.
What was the gifts? Your children was the gifts in the time of Christmas. All right? Your children was the gifts from one plantation owner to the next plantation owner. Come on.
Because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
The two prophets is southern kingdom and northern kingdom, Judah and Israel. All right? Let's get back to Colossians 2 and verse 8.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men.
Why? Because we cannot find anywhere in the Bible that Christ, the prophets, the leaders celebrated Christmas. So this is not a tradition or this is not a high holy day that was ordained by God that we can read in Deuteronomy chapter 16, Leviticus chapter 23. These are not high holy days or solemn feast days that was ordained by the Lord. All right? These are what tradition of men use to celebrate the conquering of the Israelites. That's what you need to understand. This celebration, which we're going to get into deeper, represents the conquering of the Israelites in Europe on a regional level, continental level, and on a global level. That's what it represents. All right? Come on.
After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
And not after Christ. Because we can't read nowhere in the Bible where Christ instituted or the Lord instituted to keep this pagan holiday. All right? Let's go to the first picture. I want the definition of Christmas. The definition of Christmas. We're going to show now how Christmas is a deception. All right, let's put on the screen. The next screen. Just put it on this screen. Right. Okay, read.
Christmas is an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, observed primarily on December 25th as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the world.
Wow. So is Christmas on December 25th? Is this the birth of Christ? Is this when Christ was born? Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 41. They're saying December 25th is the birth of Christ. That's Christmas. Is that according to the Bible?
This is the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover.
At the feast of what?
At the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And
so read verse 42 again.
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast.
So let's find out what Passover means. Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1. Is this the birth of Christ? That's what you need to be asking yourselves. That's what they say, but what does the Lord say when his son was born? What does the Lord say? Come on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16 verse 1.
Come on.
Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
So Passover starts on the month of Abib. Abib, according to the Bible dictionary, means what? Spring, ear of corn. That's in the spring. December 25th is in the winter. It's in the winter. So what you brothers and sisters need to understand, do your homework. The scriptures say they went up in Luke chapter 2, verse 41 to 42. Every Passover, they went up to keep the feast at Jerusalem. That's when Christ was born. Christ was born on the Passover. And Passover is in spring. Because Abib means ear of spring, ear of corn. When everything is springing out again, everything is coming back to life. All right? Yeah, put it on the screen. Look it right on the screen. I'll read that.
Abib, an ear of corn, Israelic name for the first month of the year. After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan. It felt about the time of our March and early April.
What time did it? Which month signifies Abib? It fell.
It fell about the time of our March and early April.
I don't see no December 25th there. I don't see crop sprouting and coming back to life in December in the dead of winter. So y'all gotta get y'all facts straight. Y'all gotta get your facts right and make sure it's according to thus saith the Lord, and not according to your pastor just teaching you anything. And then when you open the scriptures, you're like, wait a minute. He said, but he went up when he was 12, and he kept the feast of the Passover. It's showing his birth was at what? Passover in spring during March, April, the first month of the year. Let's get the second paragraph. Go back up the next article on Christmas. Second paragraph, because we're gonna bring it home. Let's put it on the second one. Okay, let's blow it up. Blow it up, blow it up. Yes. And start at there are different hypotheses.
There are different hypotheses.
Give it a second. Yes. All right. We're good.
There are different hypotheses regarding the date of Jesus' birth.
Nah, there ain't no different, because we just proved, according to the Bible, when Christ was born. But we show you how slick these scholars are. Come on.
And in early 4th century, the church fixed the date.
Wait. Who fixed the date? Who changed the date?
The church fixed the date as December 25th.
Wait a minute. They taught these people using the Bible. Why would you need to fix the date to December 25th when the Lord already done tell you when his son is born? The month of Abib, that's the Passover during March, April. Read it again.
There are different hypotheses regarding the date of Jesus' birth. And in the early 4th century, the church fixed the date as December 25th. It is exactly 9 months after the
Annunciation
on March 25th. Also the date of the spring equinox. Most Christians celebrate on December 25th in the
Gregorian
calendar, which also adopted almost universally the civil calendars used in countries throughout the world.
Yes, let me stop there. So you see who fixed the date of December 25th? The Catholic Church. The Catholic Church did that. All right? That's not according to the Bible. That's why Colossians 2:8 say, don't let any man spoil you through vain deceit and the philosophies and the rudiments of this world, and not after Christ. Read it again. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 60, verse 1. We're going to read it again, so it sinks in the mind of our people. Because a lot of y'all might be asking, we're in the month of August. Why is this coming out now? Because our enemy takes a diligent job to make sure that he indoctrinates our people by putting the Christmas candies, the Christmas stuff, the Christmas ornaments, all the stuff to market the mind of our people to break God's laws. According to them, Christmas is in December 25th. That's when Christ was born. You're going to start seeing stuff in the stores in September. You're going to start seeing Christmas stuff in the stores in October. You're going to start seeing stuff in the stores in November. So we got to be ahead to bring all of those thoughts into subjection against to the knowledge of God, right? All of those thoughts, we got to bring them into subjection according to the knowledge of God. That's why we're doing it early. So when you hear this class and you continue repeating this class over and over, you cannot be catched. You cannot be catched by the wiles of the devil to say, hey, I know what I'm celebrating or I have celebrated was wrong. Now, when I go into the store, you should not be spoiled. You should have wisdom and understanding and mature enough to say, I know I've been probably celebrating this for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Wrong. Now you have to make a change because you now know by you breaking God's laws, the curses is what's keeping your people in a decayed and low estate. And if you truly love your people, you will stop breaking God's commandments and come back to keeping the high holy days that God has given you, such as Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Pentecost, Tabernacles, dedication, so on and so forth. All right? Read it again, Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
Come on.
And keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God.
This is what God has instituted to us, the Passover. All right? Luke chapter 2, verse 41. Let's get the book of Luke chapter 2 and verse 41. You might say, yeah, we read it already. Now we're going to read it again. We're going to read it again until our people get it in their minds. Because why? The scripture says in Deuteronomy chapter 6, we got to teach our children. When you go out today in the streets and you ask, hey, prove to me Christmas is in the Bible. Prove to me the origin of Christmas. Our people don't know. They don't know. They have no kind of understanding to prove why they're doing what they're doing. That's why it is a deceiving spirit. Because the answers are in the Bible, but due to the gift destroying the heart, the ham, the turkey, the wine, all of these things, the bonuses, those things is what destroy you from what? Doing what the Lord say, that the curses may remain upon our people. Come on. Luke chapter 2, verse 41.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year after the feast of the Passover.
And the Passover was what? In spring, during the months of March and April, the first month of the year. Abib, the ear of corn. Come on.
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the...
Why do you think they put 12 years old there for a reason? To signify when the Passover comes, he makes a new date. He turns a new age. That's why it's there. So it can be straight to the point and straight clear. So you don't get confused. Oh, maybe they just put it there to tell us, maybe you know how people is, oh, maybe they just put it there to tell us at this time he was 12. No, it says in verse 41, every year, every year, every year, every year. Then they put his age. Every year, and it says, and when he was 12 years old, they went up. So it signifies when the Passover comes, makes a new age. You got it? Wait, finish it off.
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the customs of the feast.
Exactly. So brothers and sisters, that's a deception. Christ was not born on December 25th. He was born on the Passover during the months of March, April, based on the first new moon falling in those months. All right?
Officer, can I add?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Are we staying in the book of Luke? But when we jump down to, I will just read it, you break it down. We will read verse, Luke chapter 2, we will read verse 7 and 8. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flocks by night. So that shows to you that shepherds were outside tending to their sheep. So that shows you already this is not in the winter period.
Exactly, because if it was in the winter period, when he was just, they say firstborn, he was just born, why would it be out in the winter period? And these are the things that our people are spoiled. A gift destroyed the heart, because if our people were paying attention, these easy clues would make you start questioning. Wait a minute. Our forefathers in the islands, we have goats, we have cows, we got sheep, how they graze the pasture and so on. They don't do that in the winter. You understand? These are basic things that our people have fallen away from common basic understanding. Why? Because you become spoiled. You let these idols spoil you and take you away from God, that keep the judgments upon us. Now, that was the deception. Now we're going to deal with Christmas being a falsehood. The real history behind Sinterklaas or Christmas. Let's get the first article. The dark side of Zwarte Piet, Black Pete. Put up the first article. So Sinterklaas, in Netherlands we call it Sinterklaas, or in the rest of the world you call it Christmas. They are one in the same. Don't get it twisted. They're one in the same. And we're going to show that to you. They're one in the same. We're going to show how it's a falsehood, the real history behind Sinterklaas. Let's get the first article. Yes, pull it up. The dark side of Zwarte Piet. A misunderstood tradition or racism in disguise. So that's what the scholars are saying. Is it a misunderstood tradition or racism in disguise? We're going to start at introduction. All right, let's start at the introduction. Right, go back up. Yes, pull it up. Okay.
Introduction. It is a long-standing tradition in some countries in Northern Europe, the Netherlands, Belgium, the north of France, some parts of Germany, to celebrate Saint Nicholas. In Dutch, Sinterklaas or Saint Nicholas, or in abbreviated form, the Sint. The tradition is particularly vivid in the Netherlands and in Flanders.
That's Belgium. Come on.
Where it is the most important children's celebration in this article. I will focus on the tradition as it has been developed in Low Countries.
And the Low Countries is Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Come on, read down. Just put it up a little bit. Yes.
The tradition consists of two important events.
Come on.
Mid-November, Sinterklaas arrives on a steamboat in a Dutch port or city, or in Belgium in a port of Antwerp, accompanied by many Zwarte Pieten. Sinterklaas is an old mythic bishop and dressed accordingly, red cape, mitre, and crosier. He sits on a white horse, which he will use to ride on the roofs of the houses.
Wait. Which he used to ride on the roofs of the. Doesn't Santa Claus do the same thing? Reindeers, come on, let's go. He sits on a white horse,
which he will use to ride on a roof of the houses on the night of 5th to 6th December, when the gifts to the children will be distributed. Zwarte Piet, or since there are many now, the Zwarte Pieten plural, are his helpers. They have black faces, big red lips, wear a curly African wig, golden earrings, and are just like Page boys.
Dressed like what?
Page boys.
Stop right there. They are dressed like page boys. So page boys, for a lot of y'all that don't know, those was medieval servants. Medieval servants. Let me see. We got any pictures? Let's pull up a picture there. Let's pull up a picture. Those was medieval servants. When our people was the Moors, was ruling in the dark ages, and just when they were getting ready to be conquered, these were boys of nobility from nobility families that went and served under these Europeans as the Renaissance era was just getting ready to be executed, meaning being rebirthed. We're gonna pull up a picture so y'all can see what a page boy is. All right, just so y'all know. Don't let these small words just skip over them. Now, pay full attention because those are where the clues are. All right.
You can also see that the countries that the Netherlands has as colonies, they colonized, like Suriname, the former Dutch Antilles, etc. On these islands, they also brought these traditions and false deceit to them.
Right.
So now also on those islands, they're also celebrating these pagan feast holidays, Zwarte Piet.
And they don't even know why they're doing it.
Exactly.
Right? See how he has a chain. He has a chain around his neck. Yeah, like the script, like we just read. He has earrings, so on and so forth. But remember, look at his attire. He's well dressed. Yeah, no bum. This was when we were ruling and we were being systematically kicked out of Europe. The Renaissance era was coming into pass, and what? We now became their servants. So let's put the article back up again. Right. It says the houses on the 5th and the 6th of December when the gifts to the children will be distributed. Zwarte Piet, come on. Zwarte Piet, or since there are many now.
Zwarte Piet, or since there are many now, the Zwarte Pieten are his helpers. They have black faces, big red lips, wear curly African wig, golden earrings, and are dressed like page boys.
Yes, you see, they're telling you what they're doing now. Why do they have the description of our people why do they have the description of dressing up like our people? Because the key word in that sentence is page boys. The page boys was the Moors. So today, when you see people celebrating Christmas or the Sambos or the Sinterklaas, and the white people are coloring their faces, putting on the African wig, they are telling you that that's when our people were conquered. We were conquered under the Renaissance era. During the medieval era, the Dark Ages, we were becoming conquered. They were kicking us out of Europe. All right? That's just a little note for you to understand what's going on. I don't want to jump the gun just yet. Come on.
Masses of the children and adults alike wait for them on the quaysides and enthusiastically welcome them. The Zwarte Pieten will disseminate sweets. In the Netherlands, typically pepernoten, mandarins, and oranges.
Okay, let's go down to the tradition to the 9th century. We're going to start at the tradition, and we're going to stop at, go down. Go down. Yeah, let's start right there.
The tradition until the 9th century, it appears that St. Nicholas celebration date back to late medieval times.
Late back to where?
Date back to late medieval times.
Why you think they put date back to the late medieval times? Because remember what we just read? The mockery is they're dressing up with African wigs, black faces, earrings, a chain around the neck to represent the page boys. Who were the page boys? The Moors. Moorish servants when they systematically conquered us to kick us out of Europe under the Renaissance era. That's why they're telling you this date back to late medieval times. Because when the curses of Deuteronomy 28 continue to follow our people, which we're going to get that in Malachi 1, this is what was happening. This is where the tradition started. All right, read.
Several forms of celebration involving St. Nicholas existed.
Come on.
There is hardly any information available on the life of Nicholas, but stories most likely concern Nicholas of Myria,
who was
Bishop of Myria in Little Asia, Turkey. However, as Jacobs reminds us that there were many other Nicholases in the following centuries, such as Nicholas of Sion, Pope Nicholas, and Nicholas of Tolentino. So according to Jacobs, the life, works, and stories of all those persons sharing the same name were brought together during the ages and gave rise to a kind of a super story.
Don't let that fool you, because the first part of this paragraph tell you where it date back. You see the hypocrisy? Oh yeah, they had many different Nicholases and they had many different stories. We don't know where the information come, but I say St. Nicholas celebration date back to the late medieval times. Those are you have to read between the lines, because these people are play with semantics. They just try to throw you off. They give you the truth, and then they throw a lie right after the truth to throw you off the trail. Nah, you ain't gonna throw us off the trail. All right. Scroll up. Scroll up. Yeah, right there. In other European countries.
In other European countries, St. Nicholas is accompanied as of the 15th century by fearsome characters known by the name such as Krampus.
Oh, Krampus, known by the name such as?
Krampus. Ruprecht. Le Père Furtard. These characters were often devils. These characters were often devils or demons depicted in black or dark colors and would wander around with rods to punish and discipline children.
Read.
In 2015, a Dutch scholar found a German book published in 1803.
Well, in 1803, come on.
In which Ruprecht was depicted as a black valet or Santa Claus.
Oh, he was depicted as a black valet of Santa Claus. That's why I said, don't get it twisted, because everybody gonna say, yeah, Sinterklaas. No, Sinterklaas and Christmas, which is for Santa Claus, are one in the same. They are one and the same feast, pagan holiday. Come on.
Wearing a turban.
Oh, wearing a what?
Wearing a turban.
But this is the German version, wearing a turban. Why? Because the Moors was also Christians and Muslims wearing a turban. Come on.
It is not yet clear whether this representation influenced the Dutch Sinterklaas tradition.
We'll pull up. Okay. Now we're going to read these first three paragraphs. We're going to let Schenkman saves and codifies the tradition. Now, here comes with the scholars bringing out the information on what this tradition actually represents and what it means. Let's start with the first paragraph. Come on.
Much may be unclear about the myth surrounding St. Nicholas, but there is one
Come on. Yes. Starting from the top. Much
may be unclear about the myths surrounding St. Nicholas, but there is one uncontested truth.
What is he saying? What is Schenkman saying? This Dutch scholar, he's saying, listen, young Schenkman saying, listen, a lot of things surrounding this Sinterklaas might be myths, unclear, but there's one thing that you can't refute. You can't go back and forth about it. There's one truth about this feast, which we're going to read about, that you're not going to be able to disapprove, disannounce. You go back and forth, he's going to show you. Come on, read.
The conversation of the present representation of Sinterklaas, the whole setting, including the dramatis personae,
persona. Yeah, persona.
Are the results of the work of one man, Jan Schenkman. This former school teacher published a book, Sinterklaas en zijn knecht, around 1850. It is somehow surprising that this book became a trendsetter in the Low Countries.
So the Low Countries is Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands.
Historians have indeed demonstrated that by 1840, the traditional celebrations of Sinterklaas were losing their attraction.
Why were they losing their attraction? By 1840, what was going on in the Caribbean islands, South America, based on remember they had a lot of independence, right? In these times, a lot of independence was going on. A lot of islands was getting the independence. So what? It was losing their attraction. But what was going on? Come on.
And it was even believed that they would soon disappear. Moreover, they were under the sway of Enlightenment thinking, increasingly called into question.
Come on.
It was not recommended that make children believe the existence of a fictitious character, which is also inspired fear. Furthermore, as Boy has highlighted, Dutch Protestantism tried to hinder the celebration of Sinterklaas.
Wait. So why were the Protestants trying to stop, the Dutch Protestants trying to stop the celebration of Sinterklaas? Read.
Since this tradition was clearly rooted in Roman Catholicism.
What? In Roman Catholicism. You hear what the Protestants knew? Hey, this tradition was rooted in Roman Catholicism. What was going on at that time? The Renaissance era was taking place. They were conquering our people. They was kicking the Moors out of Spain, out of Portugal, out of all of these other countries. That's why they said, you know what? Let's try to stop this celebration, or it's losing its attraction. But the other churches were like, hell no. This is a celebration that we are conquering the Israelites out of Europe. That's why they knew. They say, hey, listen, if we want to keep these slaves docile, we want to keep these slaves from not knowing what's going on. Because, right, if the slaves know what's the real meaning behind this feast, they're going to start to question a lot of the works they did prior to slavery, prior to 1492, prior to the transatlantic slave trade. They're going to start to question, how far does my history go back? The Protestants were like, yo, we gotta stop celebrating this because this is bringing too much attention to us. And these people, as they're coming out of slavery during the 1800s, a lot of people, a lot of islands, a lot of countries got their independence during slavery and that period. So they were like, listen, these people are gonna learn to read, they're gonna learn to write. We gotta stop celebrating this so they catch on what was going on. That's why they had to come up with Christmas, to distract you from the origin of Sinterklaas, which is one and the same with Christmas. Go back to the article. Let's finish. Read it again. Since this tradition
was clearly rooted in Roman Catholicism,
uh-huh,
the only way to save the Crepuscular tradition was to create a new narrative and to civilize its celebration. Young Schenkman's book met this ambition wonderfully well. The author sets the scene. Sinterklaas is coming from Spain. He has a servant, and the servant is based on the model of a Moorish page
on a
boy.
Moorish page boy. The servant is based on the model of a Moorish page boy. Why? Because when Christendom was on the rise during the Renaissance era, it was systematically conquering our people out of Europe. That's what you need to understand. They're like, hey, we need to civilize this, but though we're civilizing this, we're not going to take away from our triumphant over these people. Then we read that in Revelations 11 and 10. Let's get it again. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 10. Because y'all going to understand how Christmas is a falsehood. Revelation chapter 11 verse 10.
This is the book of Revelations chapter 11 verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth.
The two prophets is Judah and Israel, southern and northern kingdom. What? We were ruling Europe for 1,000 years. We kicked them out of Europe. All this can say we were tormenting them. We kicked them out of Europe all the way up to the Caucasus Mountains. That's how we tormented them. So they know when it was their time, as the curses continued to fall upon us and the Renaissance era was coming to place, they were like, nah, we can't civilize it to the point where we forget its origin. We forget in ourselves for the slaves. The slaves don't need to know, but for ourselves, we need to remember why this is important for us.
And also what you can see in these diverse countries here in Europe, they left the stamp as well. You know, like when you go in Amsterdam,
right,
different places,
right,
on
right,
the buildings,
right,
you see the faces.
But why? Why? Exactly. You just said it good. Why they leave the building of Moors all over the capital cities of Europe? Why does in Spain, where it is the North Bilbao, they have this celebration of Sinterklaas? Remember we read Germany, Belgium, France, all of these countries are celebrating these things. Why? Because wherever our people was in Europe and we were kicked out due to the Renaissance era, it represents what? It represents the conquering of our people in Europe.
So that, with that being said, it makes more sense why Putin open up all these buildings to show what was actually going on.
Exactly what they were already hiding.
Exactly
what they were already hiding. Is that the third paragraph? Let's put it back on the screen. Let's finish up the third paragraph. Put it back on the screen. Let's finish off the third paragraph. No, that's the third. Let's go back up. Let's go back up. Yeah, right there. Just put it back on the screen. That was the third paragraph. All right, Moorish page boy, right? Yeah, did we stop at Moorish page boy? Yes. Okay, that was it. Now we showed the pictures of some pages, Moorish page boys, to show you who our people were. Now let's get the next article. Let's get the last article. Competing narratives. Remember, the scholars already don't tell you where this tradition is rooted in: Roman Catholicism.
And nowadays in the schools, they want to fool people. Yeah, it's a children feast, etc., etc. But they're showing you here.
Yeah, but what all people need to understand is, hey, you like pulling that scripture, Psalms 49. This is a scripture you just pull a lot. It just came to my thoughts. Psalms 49 it is, and verse 11. Because something you said was heavy. They want to push it as it is a children's celebration. But let's find out why. I like to focus on the why. Because if you focus on the why, you will find the root of all things. Psalms 49 and verse 11. What does God say? Why they're pushing it to their children and why they're trying to make it in their governments as a children's celebration. What is the why? Come on.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11.
Come on.
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever,
Uh-huh.
and their dwelling places to all generations.
That's why they have to teach their generations, these people we are over. These people we have conquered. Because they broke their God's laws, now we are over them. And if they don't teach their children, their generations cannot continue forever. That's why they make it a children's celebration. It's not for our people in the schools, our kids in the schools to understand. It's for their children to understand. Once you know why these people are in sin, you can continue forever. You can continue that. Is that what Willie Lynch said? You can continue that generation on and on and on and on. That's what the Lord said. The Lord is already telling us the mindset of these people. I say their inward thought.
Inward thought is that their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
Meaning what? Houses going into rulership. They shall be in rulership. France going to be in rulership forever. UK going to be in rulership forever. Holland, Netherlands is going to be in rulership because all of these are called kingdoms, right?
Yeah.
Spain is going to be in rulership forever. America is going to be in rulership forever as they teach their children what our people is doing wrong to continue keep us in bondage.
Yep.
That's why they make it a children's celebration, not for your kids. It's to commemorate what their kids need to know so your kids stay on the bottom. And some of these foolish Israelites from Suriname and Antilles, like you said just now, the people don't know why they do. You see them dressing up their children, not even understanding. Hey, that's a mockery against your people.
Mockery against your people.
Nee, it's gezellig. No, in Dutch they say it's fine to do. It's a fun thing to do. It's a happy time. That's what gezellig means. It's happy. It's fun. No, it's mockery. Come on. Let's get the article. Competing narratives. We're gonna start at the introduction. Blow up the introduction. So this is initializing Black Pete. Competing narratives surrounding the Sinterklaas tradition in the Netherlands. Let's start at the introduction. Blow it up. Yes, blow it up. Now we start an introduction. Yes, right there. All right. Okay, let's go.
Introduction. The Netherlands' most popular cultural tradition is undoubtedly the Feast of St. Nicholas. Struck in 2010, an imagery Catholic bishop from Mira. Each year, St. Nicholas or Sinterklaas, as he is affectionately called, visit the country, traveling from Spain.
Ironically, he's traveling from the first country that had the Inquisition on us. Pay attention to the clues. You remember you read just now, if he's not docking in the Netherlands at one of our ports, he's docking in Belgium at Antwerp, he's docking in France, he's docking here, but all of them got on their story, this guy coming from Spain. Why? Why he can't come from China? Nah, he got to start out because Spain started the Inquisition first. Come on.
Traveling from Spain on board of his steamship, the so-called Pakis boat or present boat, and accompanied by companions wearing black makeup and dressed in early modern servant costumes, the Zwarte Piet and Black Piets. The saints is welcomed dressed.
Yeah, welcome publicly.
Sorry, the saint is welcome publicly in almost every city at the start of November, and grand welcoming committee headed by the mayor and spectacle watched by thousands of children and adults usually receive him. Every year, Singletown is nominated to host the national entry of Sinterklaas, which is broadcast on television. This manner of welcoming the saint was first introduced in the south of the country at the close of the 19th century. Helsloot van Zijden.
To be broadcasted.
To be broadcasted nationally by the first time in 1952 van der Zijden Wouters on the evening of the 5th of December, St. Nicholas Eve, the saint visit every family in the country and present sweets and gifts to children who have behaved well during previous year, but between
hold it up, but between November 11th.
Between November 11th and
pull it up. Between November 11th and pull it up. Yes.
Between November 11th and December 5th, his presence is also felt from time to time. Sinterklaas, together with his black servants,
which is what?
With his black servants.
With his what?
Black servants.
Black Piet.
And
the what? What we read in the other article? Moorish page boys. They're telling you where these black servants are. Where did they come from? It started in the what? Late medieval era. Come on.
Enters people's homes at night through the chimney to leave small presents.
Because you know, in the Netherlands, when they're outside protesting against its racism, they say, oh, the chimney is what makes Black Pete get dirty. He get up. No. It said Moorish page boys.
They can see that don't make no sense because he's coming through down the chimney. Only his face is black, but he clothes clean.
Exactly.
It don't make
no sense. Oh yeah, but the chimney, and the irony is, right? Doesn't Santa Claus also come down the chimney? So how come Saint Nicholas ain't getting black, but the Black Pete getting black?
Doesn't make no sense.
Make no sense. Come on, pull back up the article. Yes. Let me start. Yeah, in this period, the third line. In this period,
almost all shops in the country are decorated with special Sinterklaas promotional materials.
You see, during this period, that's why we starting early. You hear what I said? In this period, almost all shops in the country are decorated with special Sinterklaas promotional material. What's that period? The 11th to the 5th. So they started from where? September, October. That's why in the shops, you see the letters, the chocolate letters. You see all of those things already coming in from September. You're like, wait a minute. Chocolate? What chocolate is doing here? What's paper note doing here? What's all of these things doing here?
Early.
Even in the companies, we read on promotional materials.
Schools
already start.
Businesses
already start.
Companies.
That's why when you go into the canteen of your business, you see a big bowl of paper note. You're like, wait a minute. But this is September. What the hell are they doing? And they will buy bags and bags and bags.
Refill, restock.
Just to promote that idol in your mind. Come on.
Schools, businesses, companies, hospitals, etc. celebrate the feast as well as do Dutch embassies abroad.
Read.
The feast of St. Nicholas dates back to the Middle Ages.
Yeah, here they come. Now you see? So you see how they try the curveball? You see how they chose the curveball when we read in the introduction? oh, they don't know, da 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 da. But one thing they can't the uncontested truth is rooted in Roman Catholicism, is dated back to the late medieval era. Now they put it back again. It dates back to the Middle Ages. Same thing. Same thing. Who are the black Peets? Who are the black servants? Moorish page boys. And these are people of nobility. Come on.
The Feast of Sinterklaas dates back to Middle Ages, at least, but the exact origins of Zwarte Piet remains a mystery.
No, you know why it don't remain a mystery? Because the other scholar told us who Zwarte Piet is. He's a Moorish page boy. You see how they try to curve up? But hey, we know it dates back to the Middle Ages. That's to show you, to check to see if you know what was going on in the Middle Ages. Which race of people was ruling in the Middle Ages? You see how they try to throw you off? It dates back in the Middle Ages, but we don't know who Zwarte Piet is. He remained a mystery. He don't remain a mystery because the other article tell you his dress code. He have an African wig on. He got a turban on. He got the earrings on. He got a ketting on, the chain on. He got the Moorish outfit on of a page boy, of a page servant. Don't let these people fool you. Come on.
Although, was it clear is that he appears in a children's book written by author and school teachers Jan Schenkman at the mid of the 19th century.
Remember, because this school teacher, Europe, the government used to say, you know what? Remember we read, let's civilize this, but the author still gave you the truth. Remember, he told us one thing you cannot uncontest is the truth about this entire pagan holiday and where it stemmed from. He gave us where it come from and who it entails. Come on.
The Schenkman figure also had predecessors, but how long these had existed at the moment Schenkman wrote his book and where they came from, nobody knows for sure. Nevertheless, theories abound, and these have
societal
relevance as the Sinterklaas traditions have been subject and debate
have been subject of debate
in the Netherlands for several decades now.
Yeah, you know why it's a debate? Because when all people go out to protest, they don't protest about why this is taking place. This is taking place, brothers and sisters, because you broke God's commandments. That's why it's a debate. Oh, is it racist? Da, da, da. Nah, stop focusing as if it's racist. Focusing on why it's happening. Why is it taking place? These people conquered our people because we broke God's commandments. You're supposed to be out there teaching your people not to keep this feast and teaching your people what did we do to have them conquer us. Read.
The bone of the contention is
that was it. I want now, let's go to Malachi 1 and verse 4. Malachi 1 and verse 4. So brothers and sisters, Sinterklaas is the systematic conquering in Europe of our people. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4.
This is the book of Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished.
When were they impoverished? During the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, the medieval era. All three of those words are interchangeable. Medieval era, Dark Ages, Middle Ages. They're all one and the same. Come on.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
So when did the the Edomites, when did they return and rebuild the desolate places? During the Renaissance era. Come on.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness.
The beginning of all wickedness. The border of wickedness.
And the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever.
And who the Lord will hate forever. Okay, let's go back to the article. I want now the next section, the pan-European tradition. Let's go back to the article, the pan-European tradition. Okay, go down. Go down. Yes. No. The pan-European tradition. Blow it up so we can see. Just blow it up. Yeah, you just passed it. Blow it up. No, you have to blow it up. Then you could go down. Right there. The pan-European and pre-Christian celebration narrative.
In a second narrative of meaning, the roots of Zwarte Piet.
Yeah, you remember. They just said they don't know where Zwarte Piet. These people are playing games. We don't know. Now, they find in other books, other scholars, and they say a second narrative of meaning. Come on.
In a second narrative of meaning, the roots of Zwarte Piet are sought in a pre-Christian Germanic tradition. In some instances, Piet history is even tracked back further.
It's traced back further. But I thought they didn't have no understanding where Piet come from. They say even traced back further. Come on.
Celebrated throughout Europe.
Oh. Celebrated throughout what?
Celebrated throughout Europe.
I wonder why Piet's history celebrated throughout all of Europe.
And the Middle East. Precise storylines within this narrative may vary, but they have the common understanding that the figure of Zwarte Piet is said to be remnant of an Asian fertility rite related.
Related to what? Come on. Scroll up. Right, related to the
midwinter traditions. When the process of Christianization took place in Europe.
Wait. Say when the process of what?
When the process of Christianization took place in Europe, this presumably millennia of old tradition faded away.
Wait. Yeah, come on.
But in many places, it left traces in the form of a devilish figure who accompanied the good Saint Nicholas on his yearly visit. Among the place where his tradition has lived on are the Low Countries.
Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Come on.
It is argued by people articulating this narrative that this shared memory of a black figure visiting around midwinter must be the reason of the reintroduction of the reintroduction and appearances of Zwarte Piet since the mid-19th century.
Exactly. Now read when the process of Christianization again.
When the process of Christianization took place in Europe.
Okay. Let's read what a process of Christianization. What was the process of Christianization according to the Bible that took place in Europe? First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48. What was the process of Christianization that took place in Europe?
This is the book of First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48.
Right.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Yes, iconoclasm. During the Renaissance era, they painted all. They went in our books that whitewashing, taking all our images out, painting their images in. during the process of Christianization. Why? Because you remember, Sinterklaas is deeply rooted in Roman Catholicism. You remember, Black Pete is actually a Moorish page boy. And Moorish page boy, their families come from nobility. It's when they destroyed our people and kicked our people out of Europe. That's what you need to understand. That's what our people need to understand. During the process of Christianization, iconoclasm took place. They painted the likeness of their images in our book. That's where the Caesar Borgia image of Christ came from. All right. So that what was taking place in Europe. And let's see what was happening in the world. Job 9:24. So that was in Europe. So when that took place in Europe and the Jesuit priests went out on 1492, what took place in the world now? They brought you what?
This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is what?
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges.
Yeah,
thereof.
he covered the face of the judges. That's why we have the Renaissance image of Christ. We have the Caesar Borgia image of Christ, the image of the beast. So when they systematically conquered us in Europe, Sinterklaas was their celebration that they overthrew the Israelites in Europe. And then Christmas was the global celebration of conquering the Israelites to the four corners of the world. Christmas is not a feast that represents unity and love for our people. It represents the Europeans conquering us first on the continent of Europe by another name called Sinterklaas, which is one and the same, and then Christmas by a global conquering of the fake image of Christ. That's what y'all need to understand. They're celebrating the conquering of our people from one continent to the rest of the world. Get me Jeremiah. We're going to close up with Jeremiah 17:4. Jeremiah 17:4.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4.
Come on.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Yeah, how you discontinue from your heritage, brothers and sisters? Because you let people spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit, after the rudiments of the world, after the traditions of men, but not after Christ, not what is written in this Bible. We are discontinued from our heritage because we are destroyed. We are discontinued from our heritage because the curse of God is put upon us for breaking his commandments. Read.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
So that's what you have to understand. God has given us time to come up from these pagan hella days. We are now serving our enemies. Our enemies teach us all of these lies. But now that you know the truth about Christmas, how it's a deceit to your people, Christ was never born in December 25th, but actually December 25th is a representation of what? The conquering of your king. That's why they put it in December 25th. Don't you find it ironic? December 25th is the Renaissance image of Christ. They changed the face. December 5th to 6th is when they kicked us out of Spain, Portugal, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, Germany. They're celebrating these feast days the same month when the Inquisitions took place. And we fled from one European country to the next. When the Spanish Inquisition came into place, we fled to Portugal. When the Portuguese Inquisition came to place, we fled more north. We went to France. When France did their thing, we went to Belgium. We went to Luxembourg. We went all the way up to the Netherlands. We went to Germany. We went to the UK. That's why it's spread throughout all Europe. They're all celebrating this pagan holiday. It's the systematic conquering of your people from one continent to the whole world. Come on, that's it? That's the end of it?
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
So what do we need to do? Zephaniah 2:1. What do we need to do? Let's get it. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Exactly. The scriptures say, gather ourselves today before judgment takes place. Gather ourselves together. Now that you know the truth about these pagan holidays, we got more classes online. You can log on www.israelunite.org, visit all our YouTube channels and learn about all of these pagan holidays that are going into idolatry and actually the conquering of your people. For example, Thanksgiving, the conquering of the Native American Indians. Don't see these celebrations as a family-orientated or a children-orientated feast, because it has a deeper meaning behind of these things. They're teaching these things to their children so that their homes, their houses, mean their rulership, and the generations to come, that they may continue forever ruling over your people. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.